Well, Broncos country, a mile high salute, man. As y'all can see, I'm outside of the normal studio. I'm at my full-time day job in the office here, but I wasn't going to be home until pretty late tonight. I wanted to make sure I could at least get you one guaranteed video before this huge game between the Broncos and the Chargers. So here I am. We got the final injury report heading into the game. We're going to go over that. We're going to talk about key matchups. We're going to talk about a lot of different things that the Broncos need to do in order to come out of Los Angeles, our second home, with a dub, and I can't believe I'm saying this, guys, a playoff berth. How good does that sound? Man, I hope this is going to happen. All right, well, we'll get into that. But first, if it's your first time on the channel, welcome. I appreciate it. Consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. If you already subscribed, thank you. Tell a friend. Have the friend tell a friend. I'm so close to my goal, and I'd appreciate it if y'all could help me out to get to that 500 subscriber mark. All right, y'all. Well, let's get right to it. What do you guys think? All right. The Broncos are getting ready in about 28 hours to play the Los Angeles Chargers. And this is what the final injury report's looking like, right? So good news, bad news. The good news here, John Franklin Myers, DJ Jones, Pat Surtain, they all look good to go, ready to rock. That's awesome, especially for the D-line depth. We really, really needed those guys to play in this particular game specifically. Gotta love it. And PS2, my man, is gonna be available. So that's phenomenal. Riley Moss is out for this game. Not much of a surprise. I think there was a little bit of false hope because he was limited yesterday, but he is out. He should be back for the Bengals game, which we'll definitely need him for, considering the weapons that they got. And the other one, not very surprising to me, but is for some, is Jaleel McLaughlin. Now, the surprising part here is that he was limited yesterday, as it estimated, even though it was a walkthrough. But today was a walkthrough as well, and he was a DNP. So either they miscalculated the estimation yesterday, or he made it worse, or he got worse with his injury. But quads are really tricky. It could be a multi-week thing, so something to really keep your eyes out on there. The frustrating thing with that is that Jaleel McLaughlin has been the best ball carrier we've had. Not saying much, but he's definitely the most explosive, the most fun back to watch. I think he's the biggest threat that we have of all of our actual running backs. But it might mean Blake Watson's season finally. I hope it does. We'll know based off of the elevations tomorrow. I don't think we have to say those today because it's a Thursday game. We can actually announce the game day elevations tomorrow. And if it's Blake Watson, get ready, guys, because what I'm telling you all is this. Obviously, all the information that I have is the same as what you guys have. We only know based off his preseason performance and what he did in college at Memphis. But what you will, and you can quote me on this, if you get an opportunity to see Blake Watson on the field carrying the ball, even if it's for a handful of carries tomorrow night, it'll be very clear and evident to y'all that he is just different from the other two backs that we have. He's explosive, he's fast, he's quick. He brings a really unique element, something that I think that Sean Payton really desires from his running backs. That's why I was really surprised that it's been this long since we've gotten an opportunity to see him. He's a phenomenal catcher of the football. He used to be a receiver at Old Dominion before he switched positions and became a running back. He had like 53 catches in his final year at Memphis. Explosive runner, and he's got more size to him than Jaleel McLaughlin does. So he's going to be surprisingly a bigger dude than what you would expect for him to be. Plus, they gave him a $150,000 signing bonus as an undrafted free agent. There's a lot of things to like. It's a reason why he initially made the 53-man roster. It's a reason why after he was cut, they were worried about losing him. They ended up getting him back on the practice squad. Just watch out for that. I think that he's going to be somebody that is going to be ready to play, and he's going to look good doing it. And honestly, we're at the point now with our running backs that why the hell aren't we trying everything? So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a major key. And that brings me right into, the keys to the game, right? So what do we know about this Chargers team? This Chargers team is a little bit beat up. We get that now, for sure. There's not really much doubt about it. But they're extremely well coached. They've got a lot of guys on this team that you don't really know who they are, but they just find a way to perform. And the reason that they're such a tough team to beat, I mean, if aside from the game last week where the Bucs really did kick their ass, they've always been a tough out. They've won their games close, and the games that they've lost, they've been very close as well. And one of the biggest reasons for that is because they do not turn the ball over at all. Now, if you look at the league stats right now, in terms of turnover differential, they're ranked 4th at +11. The Broncos, who forced the hell out of turnovers, and you'll be able to see that in the numbers, right? They're ranked well below them at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th, right? At a +5 turnover differential. So their turnover differential is 6 better than ours for the whole year. They have forced 14 interceptions, and they forced 5 fumbles. They've only thrown 2 picks. They have fumbled the ball 6 times, right? But they've only forced 2 picks or thrown 2 picks. That's crazy. They're a tough team to get turnovers from. When you're only throwing 2 interceptions and you're basically relying on fumbles as the only way they can get the ball back, it makes it a lot more difficult. So that's why when it comes to this game, it's going to be imperative that, okay, winning the turnover battle would be huge, but at least being even in the turnover battle differential. It's key in really every game, but especially with the Chargers, because the Chargers are a team that they don't really have a big margin for error, very similar to kind of how the Broncos are, at least especially how it was earlier in the season. They don't really have much of a margin for error. I think that they get that. It's emphasized even more because of the injuries that they're dealing with, specifically in the running back position. They have not been able to run the ball at all since J.K. Dobbins got hurt. Quentin Johnson looks like he's going to be questionable for this game. Will Dissly, I don't think is going to be playing. He's actually been a really good tight end for him. Watch out for this guy last name is Smart. He looked really good when Will Dissly went out in last week's game. He's an athletic guy. He's basically just a big receiver, so watch out for him. But they find ways to win games, and that's because they focus on controlling the time of possession, not turning the ball over, and really forcing the other team to make mistakes. So we need to play their style of football better. The way that this defense has been playing and the way that they've been forcing turnovers has been a huge plus. We certainly can't just rely on that, but it does make me optimistic that we'll be able to at least force a turnover or 2 in the air, especially if we can really blanket the receivers. We can get a little bit better pressure on Justin Herbert than we did the first game, which we didn't get a lot of pressure on him at all. He's got a giddy ankle right now, guys. So you get him moving, you get him running, you get him kind of rushing some things, there's going to be some opportunities there. I've seen it. And so that's going to be the major key there. The O-line, the way that the O-line protects Bo Nix is going to be huge. They do have a good defense overall. They've got a really solid, underrated pass rush. I trust that this O-line is going to do a good job protecting Bo. They've done it all year. So I'm not overly concerned about that. But I am concerned, and I have been for a long time, but especially in this game. This is just one of those games, guys, where it worries me because running the football and being effective on the ground is so important. I know that if you look at the Bucs game last week, you're going to see that Baker Mayfield's torched him through the air. Mike Evans had a huge game. Jalen McMillan had a really big game for him too. I get that. But their running backs, both of them, were unbelievably efficient. They had 15 carries each. They each had over 70 yards, a couple touchdowns. That's where it starts if you want to beat this team. You got to control the time of possession. We have to figure out a way to be effective running the ball. I don't care if it's out of the pistol. I don't care if it's because Bo's running a lot. I don't care if it's Marvin Mims out of the backfield. Don't care what it is. We need to be able to run the ball, control the clock, and really just impose our will on this team. Beat them at their game. That's going to be huge. Because if you're just going to rely on Bo Nix having to slice and dice this team up in the air, this is a very, very tough secondary that not only covers well, but they're very opportunistic. So that's not going to be it's not going to be a good recipe for success if you allow that to happen. So it's going to be all about running the football. On the flip side, we should be able to stop their run game, especially with J.K. Dobbins not there. He had a pretty decent game against us the first time they played. We've got to make sure Kamani Vidal and Gus Edwards don't do a thing. Force them to throw the ball. The more that they have to throw. You know how this defense is. This defense will make plays if a quarterback is dropping back to throw the ball 30 times. And it's very rare that happens in a Jim Harbaugh coach team, in a Jim Harbaugh offense. It might not even, I don't even think it's happened all year, to be honest. I don't think that there's been a game, and I'm going to check it real quick, but I don't really think that there's been a game that that Justin Herbert's had to throw over 30 attempts. Even in that blowout, I don't even think they got to that. So let me pull up some of these numbers here. Yeah, well, he was actually last game was the first game Justin Herbert threw over 30 attempts. He was 21 for 33 for 195, 2 touchdowns and a pick. You're going to take that. If you're going to force them to throw 30 plus times, you're going to take it. They only ran the ball 11 times, by far the lowest that they've had for the season. That's how you do it. Quick start. The Broncos have struggled with quick starts. They've been a really good second half team. That's been a positive. They get off to a quick start at their home, even though I can't wait to see how much orange is going to be there. I really like the chances that we have of winning this ball game and going into a little mini bye with a playoff spot clinched, ready to just rock out for the last 2 games. So that's going to be huge. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to this game. I like the way that the Broncos match up with this team, especially at this particular point of the season. I think we're a much better team overall, offensively and defensively, than we were the first time we played them earlier in the season. I think that they're not as good of a team. They're a little bit more beat up. So I think we're catching them at a good time. But it's always nice too. Like, you have the film from the first game to be able to look at and say, okay, where can we be better? I think the Broncos do a much better job this time around playing against them. I do think, though, however, it's going to be a very close game. This is one of those games where Vegas has it as the 3-point game. The Chargers are 3-point favorites. They essentially give 3 points to the home team, so they're looking at it as a wash. I agree. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I think the Broncos will win this game on a field goal as time expires. I had a really weird – it wasn't like a full dream. You know when you're kind of dozing off and you have like a vision in your head? Anyways, it's happened before, and I will tell you guys, never has it actually come true when these things have happened, so take it for what it's worth. But I think our boy Will Lutz has a chance. Tie game, late in the 4th, 3 seconds left on the clock. Maybe a 58-yarder, right? And he's got to drill it to win, and he does just that. That would be a really exciting way to make the playoffs. But I do think it's going to be a 3-point game either way, whether it's on a game-winning field goal or whatever. I just think it's going to be that tight. I have this game as a 24-21 Broncos victory. Want to know what you guys think below. Super fired up for it. Broncos country, let's go, baby. Let's get this playoff berth. What you guys think about that? All right. Well, that's all I got for y'all today. Hopefully, I'll be able to put another video or 2 out before the game. Considering going live before the game tomorrow, let me know in the comments if you guys would want me to do that. I'd be more than happy to do it. Otherwise, make sure you spend time with those people that you love, especially tonight, because tomorrow you're going to be a little bit preoccupied watching the Broncos, right? And go Broncos, baby. Until next time. Peace out.